Looking for a new game to play, generally a survival title? Maybe vampires interest you, or perhaps you want to play a vampire because Skyrim just isn't cutting it for you anymore, or you're bored of Elder Scrolls Online. Then The Rising might be the title for you. As read from the description of the game, from the devs themselves, awaken as a vampire, hunt for blood in nearby settlements to regain your strength and evade the scorching sun to survive. Raise your castle and thrive in an ever-changing open world full of mystery. Gain allies online and conquer the land of the living. Sounds like a perfect survival title, doesn't it? Or is it? My name is FAI, or just I, and in this video I will review my thoughts currently as of the early access on this game and my personal impressions. As many of you may know, I'm of course a competitive streamer through Twitch, link in the description below. On this video, and I also create tips, tricks, and reviews on YouTube. Now, roll the intro. First of all, I have to apologize for not making a video in a while. I really didn't have much to work on, and then I ended up getting a cold or flu. And at the time of writing this, I have only just about recovered from this cold or flu I've had. Also, if you like this video, please help me and YouTube get this through the algorithm by hitting that like button. It helps a lot, and of course, if you wish to see more, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Thanks, we are slowly reaching our first 100 subs. Let's go get it. So, from the hook alone, The Rising sounds like the perfect vampire survival game, doesn't it? Or is it a survival game? This is a good question, as the game starts out like any survival out there. You are a weakened vampire with nothing other than your bare fist. As we progress through, we soon learn that this game has some ARPG elements to the game, as you learn that you have levels, and these levels are what you base yourself for attacking some enemy, NPC, or player if you're playing PvP. Now, you're probably wondering, how do these levels work? Do I gain them by battling my enemies? No, you do not gain levels by battling enemies. In fact, the only way to level up is by improving your gear. As you improve your gear, you gain levels. So, does this count as a vampire survival game? Good question, and the survival element comes in the form of not being burned by the sun, but also not forgetting to feed on blood. After all, blood is your life force to survival. It heals you over time and when you use your mending power. I should mention that blood of the same type doesn't stack. This is one of the first issues I have with the game. Blood types have qualities, and sadly, you can't stack the same blood type to improve the quality of blood you have. I don't know why this is a thing, but it is. So, how is building your base or castle? Building your base or castle is quite simple. It's easy to understand, and you don't need to worry much about building a roof over your head, as it will spawn automatically once you have stone walls. This, though, brings me to another point I'm not very happy about. So what is this point you're not happy about? I don't mind the fact that you only get, at the time, 2 castles. I feel that more castles would become harder to manage. My problem is that you only have limited space as you can upgrade the castle hard, but as you upgrade it, you can't make it to where you gain a huge amount of space to build on. What do you mean a huge amount of space to build on? In the beginning, you start with 30 blocks of space, which for a start is okay. I have no issues with that. As time goes on and you upgrade, you eventually will get 250 blocks of space. That sounds large, but as you will learn, it's not enough. Now, let's talk about the mission layout. What about the mission layout? The mission layout starts out just fine, with your basic getting through the tutorial and getting your feet in the water with a few basic items. As time goes on, you go into the main land. You find that the missions become quite fast-paced. This isn't a bad thing, but you soon find out that the mission leads you quickly to endgame. There isn't really much in the way of learning how to level up or even stockpiling for the future. What about the gear? How do I improve it? Good question. And the answer is through boss fights and looting. You eventually learn about the research desk, which give you improvements to your gear and more levels, health and damage, weapon and magical wise. The game, sadly though, gives you no sense of direction on which bosses will give you books that give you the improved items, and it's more or less a guessing game or luck of the draw. So, what if I don't want to gather or stockpile items myself all the time? Good question. And lucky for you, the game provides you with servants. Sadly though, you have to progress the game in order to learn how to create your servants. I've gotten to the point where I'm already trying to get my first servant. What now? Ah, good. For you. But for me, I feel that the servant conversion is a bit slow. Mostly when you're not on a dedicated server, conversion takes about 1 hour 30 minutes or so. As you can see, this is slow. Eventually, you can get up to 9 servants, which can be useful for you. But what happens after I get my servants? Ah, yes, well, you sit on your throne, which you learn how to create eventually, and send them on missions. You will need to give them gear for them to possibly win, but a well-planned mission can give you loads of rewards. Why is it taking so long to have my servants complete a mission? I agree that missions take way too long to complete outside of dedicated servers, as 24 hours is quite a bit of time, and honestly, time stops the moment you quit from a non-dedicated server. Personally, I think this should be looked at. What about my items? I can't transport them with me or on me. Ah, yes, this is a problem, and hopefully devs make the game standard to transport with your items, and not just some. But lucky for you, there is a way to turn on transport with all your items in advanced settings. I keep attracting attention I don't want when fighting bosses or enemies. Is this a issue you have run into? Ah, yes, of course, I have run into this issue way too often in solo. You can attract attention that you don't want. Sadly, I've not found a way to change the timer on respawns for NPCs, but as long as you take out everyone in your path, it's more than likely you won't attract attention you don't want. Anything else I should know about before the main question? Of course, I know the main question, but to answer this one, I personally feel that power level is a bit under for a solo player, and you will have to use advanced settings to make it more likely you will survive overall. Some of the things you should consider are durability loss multiplier, health multiplier, and so forth. So, is it worth the money? The main question. And maybe the one you all want to know about. Yes, I think that it is worth the money. But at the moment, I want you to realize that with the way the game is built, I can't tell if it's meant to be an action RPG or a survival. There are so many elements in the game, like horse riding, which isn't good and feels clunky. Powers like changing into a wolf, or a bat, a bear, or even a rat. Also, with so many other elements, it's hard to say if this is a true survival game or a action RPG with survival elements. At $20 currently, as of the making of this video, it would be worth the look, but with a expected early access of 12 months, and maybe 11 now as of the writing of this script, I'm sure as updates pour in, the price will raise. Some closing thoughts at the moment. I feel that the devs really have to decide, is this a survival game like Don't Starve, Minecraft, and any other survival games that came before it, or is it a action RPG? As right now, I'm currently unsure of its direction. I also feel that right now, the bosses feel like the only reason many people would play the game, and the missions are a bit fast, as there is no downtime explaining the base building and how you can make your base to a point where you don't need to go out to actually get the materials you need. There is a lot of potential in this game, but until the main point of is this a survival or action RPG like Lost Ark gets settled, I feel that it's leaning on many ideas but not quite settled yet. Personally, I can't wait to see more, but hopefully this small early access review has given you an idea of if you should buy in now. I will be making a full review when this game gets out of early access. But until then, thank you for watching this review. Hopefully you have found it helpful, and look forward to my full review when this game gets out of early access. See you in the next one.